all that. In Indiana, we project the incumbent Democratic popular Senator Evan Bayh, a winner there. And we can't say the margin. It's now 68%, but that's just getting us started here. And we're also projecting another incumbent Democrat will win in the Senate. That is Blanche Lincoln of Arkansas. That represents no change, obviously, she being an incumbent. So as well in Arizona. Byron Dorgan, Democratic incumbent, winning in North Dakota. Campaign out in South Dakota, where the current Democratic leader, Senator Daschle, is utterly deadlocked there. They're separated now by less than 1,000 votes, about 700 votes between them. Congressman Thune ahead. Only 42% of the precincts are in out there. I don't know where that stuff is or anything about the Indian reservation tabulation out there.
Ann Coulter, Tom Daschle, out of work.
Oh, yeah. No, that was one of the most heartening moments of the campaign last night.
You Decide 2006 Election Night, anchored by Brit Hughes. Exclusive Election Day polls with Chris Wallace, Carl Cameron, and Major Garrett cover the battle for control of Congress. Megan Kendall reports on the governor races. Also, analysis by Fred Barnes, Mort Kondracki, Juan Williams, Bill Kristol, and Michael Barone. Michelle Malkin with the inside story on Election Night Blog. Plus, Jim Angle reports on key ballot initiatives. And we'll have live reports from the Fox News team around the nation. Now, from Fox News election headquarters in New York, Brit Hughes.
Well, good evening again, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll look at the states where we can call. You see raw vote on the Allen race at the bottom of the screen. Here we go. This is Ben Nelson. This is a Democrat hold in Nebraska, which is no surprise, no switch. Now, North Dakota U.S. Senate, this is Kent Conrad. He's been a senior member on the Budget Committee and well known to those who cover Washington. He was not thought to be in any trouble, and he wins re-election. New Mexico, Jeff Bingaman, been around a long time, was overwhelmingly favored to win. He has won. And have one more call we're able to make. This in Rhode Island, where Link Chafee, the incumbent Republican, has lost, we project, to the Democratic candidate Sheldon Whitehouse, two men whose views are virtually indistinguishable, but nonetheless, in a state like Rhode Island, in a year like this, with an R next to your name, you're endangered, and so Chafee proved to be endangered. We're going to take a brief break. We're going to take a look at how this alters the structure in terms of who's up, who's down in the House and in the Senate when we come back. Stay tuned. The House has gone Democratic, but the Senate is still out there. It is out there in 4 key races. Still too close to call. In Missouri, Jim Talent clinging to a lead there, only less than half the precincts in, and many big ones yet to come. In Montana, that is still too close to call, although John Tester, the Democratic challenger, is ahead of Conrad Burns, Republican, only 4% in out there. Tennessee, Corker clings to a lead. It's about, less than 60,000 votes, with 86% counted. In terms of the lead, John Tester ahead of Conrad Burns, now only 18% in Montana. We won't know much more about that for a long time. Tennessee is one where Republicans, at least, are privately very optimistic that they have won that. We are not prepared to call it, even though there's 88% of the vote in. And the Republicans will need more than that. They will also...
And there, the final, it looks like a gain, as you can see, for Casey, resounding 59 to 41%. And then you go to Missouri, and Claire McCaskill, who had that very potent ad, which starred Michael J. Fox talking about Parkinson's and stem cell research and stuff like that. She was supported by the outpouring of support she got after that ran. And in fact, as we look at the results right now, she's up by over Talent by over 100,000 votes, 49 to 47%. Last night, she did thank the former Family Ties star himself. Listen.
I'm very grateful to Michael J. Fox because he was brave and committed, and I thought that the commercial was powerful.
Let's go to the boards. In Virginia, it's an open seat. John Warner, a 5-term senator, is retired. And former Governor Mark Warner, no relation to John Warner, has, Fox News projects, won the state of Virginia, the Senate race. He's a multi-millionaire, a former governor for 4 years. He beat Jim Gilmore, also a former governor. This is the first time Virginia has had 2 Democratic senators since 1970. The traditionally red state of Virginia going all blue. Let's move on. Let's go to the boards and take a look at them. First of all, in the state of West Virginia, we can project that Senator Jay Rockefeller, the incumbent senator of West Virginia, will win a 5th term in the Senate. He had token opposition Jay Wolf, who is an insurance agent who owns his own insurance company. We're sure that it's a very good company to belong to, but or to have your insurance from, but it wasn't enough to get him elected the senator from West Virginia. And to give you a sense of just what a problem Jay Wolf faced, the Republican Party has not won a Senate race in West Virginia since 1956. That's right. Jay Rockefeller continues that streak tonight with his 5th term in the Senate from the state of West Virginia. The other big race, and this is one we're going to be watching closely all night, North Carolina. Elizabeth Dole, the incumbent, and of course the wife of former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole, is in a real battle there with State Senator Kay Hagan. At this point, it looks like Kay Hagan is slightly ahead, but too close to call there. This is one of the toughest races in the country. Again, South Dakota. And this is an interesting race. Tim Johnson has won re-election to a 3rd term. Why is it interesting? You may remember in December of 2006, just after the Democrats took control of the Senate, Tim Johnson suffered a near-fatal brain hemorrhage. He was in the hospital for weeks. It took him 9 months to return to the Senate. He still generally operates out of a wheelchair, although out of pride, he walks in on crutches into the Senate. When he goes there, there was some question in the state of South Dakota whether or not he was up to another 6-year term. The voters of South Dakota said absolutely, and Tim Johnson, according to Fox News, wins his 3rd term. In the state of New Mexico, and this is one of the big ones, Tom Udall, the congressman, beats Congressman Steve Pearce, according to Fox News. The reason this is a big one, this is a Republican seat. It's an open seat. Pete Domenici, the long-term Republican senator from the state of New Mexico, has retired. And in that open seat, Tom Udall has turned a long-time Republican seat to the Democrats. That's another pickup for the Democrats in the state of New Mexico. In the state of Montana, Max Baucus, the incumbent, seeking a 6th term, and he wins it. He's an important man on Capitol Hill, chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. He was running against a fellow named Bob Kelleher, who had run at least 16 times as a Democrat, a Republican, and a Green Party member over the years. He didn't win as this time. Let's also go to Louisiana. We're saying that in that state, that's an interesting state because that was the one Democratic seat that seemed to be in a little bit of jeopardy. Mary Landrieu, the incumbent seeking a 3rd term, has a bit of a lead there, but we're not saying that she's got wrapped that up yet. State Treasurer John Kennedy, who in fact was a Democrat, and a fellow I know named Karl Rove helped recruit him for the Republican Party. He is running against her and putting up a pretty close race, and we're saying that race in Louisiana too close to call.
Welcome back, and we have a Fox News election alert for you out of the Indiana Senate race, where Fox News can now project that Democrat Joe Donnelly will beat Republican Richard Murdoch. Now, this is an open seat. It's been a Republican seat since 1977, but the Democrat, who is he has a reputation as a moderate blue dog Democrat, has now defeated the Republican candidate Richard Murdoch, who beat the longtime Senator Dick Lugar in the primary. Now, Murdoch came under fire for a comment he made in one of the debates in which he seemed to suggest that rape that results in pregnancy is something God intended. Those were his words, and that turned the race in Donnelly's favor. Again, Donnelly, known as a blue dog Democrat, and he will take over this Indiana Senate seat, and that is officially a turnover.
That was a lot of angst inside the Republican Party when Dick Lugar lost that primary to Richard Murdoch in Indiana, because Lugar was believed to sail to re-election. And Donnelly actually wasn't even considering challenging at one point because it was going to be such an uphill battle. But now the Democrat picks up the Indiana Senate seat, and that makes the race for the Senate for the Republicans pretty tough.
In Missouri, Fox News can now project that Democrat Senator Claire McCaskill will beat Republican challenger Todd Akin. This was another one of those races that got a lot of attention after Akin made some controversial comments about how women may have some sort of biological defense in the case of, quote, legitimate rape. She was considered very vulnerable in this seat in Missouri, so much so that notwithstanding those comments, there was a question about a surge, an Akin surge toward the end of the race. It was not to be for him. Claire McCaskill has beat back that challenge and will retain her Senate seat.
Another call now in Indiana. Fox News can project that Mike Pence will win the Indiana governor's seat. First elected to Congress back in 2000, six-term member of Congress. He will now be Indiana's governor.
In North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp versus Rick Berg. Again, too close to call, with 92% of the vote in, still too close to call there. In Montana, incumbent Democrat John Tester versus Denny Rehberg, 62% in. That race is too close to call. In the Montana governor's race, we also do not have a call at this point. Montana governor's race at this point is Steve Bullock, the Attorney General, Democratic Attorney General, versus Republican challenger Rick Hill. At this point, with 62% in, too close to call. The other governor's race at this point, which is too close to call, is in Washington State. Former Democratic Congressman Jay Inslee versus Rob McKenna. 55% of the vote in there. Governor in Washington State, too close to call.
Democratic candidate for Senate, Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota, has won that seat, so she has kept that seat. It was an open seat in Democratic hands.
Joe Manchin in West Virginia, he gets reelected. The president had gone there many times to try to defeat him. Didn't exactly work out for the president.
This is one of the races the president made personal. He's been to West Virginia for rallies, I believe. Maybe late in this campaign he passed it, but it had been more than any other state. He always says, Joe Manchin says he's with me, but never votes with me. I went down there to try to help Patrick Morrisey in this race, but Joe Manchin is the ultimate survivor. Was the Democratic governor of this state. If you go back in the day, Michael Dukakis carried this state. It used to be one of the bluest states in America. It has become one of the ruby red states in America where President Trump is off the charts. President Trump won this state 2 years ago by 42 points. Joe Manchin, that's a close race, closer than Joe Manchin would like it, but to win in that environment, in that state, is a big deal.
Okay, well, that's a big win for Joe Manchin. Let's go to Texas right now. Looks like Ted Cruz, the incumbent Republican, has pulled ahead.
We have a call to make, and that is in Kansas for Kansas governor.
Chris Kobach has lost that race. He's at 40%. Laura Kelly has picked it up, 51%. This is a Democrat governor race for Kansas. Obviously, Chris Kobach ran into a difficult situation there.
We're going to make a call. Here it is. Fox News can project that Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman will win the Pennsylvania Senate race over Dr. Mehmet Oz. This is a huge win for the Democrats. It is obviously also a pickup. This was Pat Toomey's seat. This was the most focused race that we looked at in this cycle.
So to you guys' point about Donald Trump, I think it's important to know as we move to Kentucky, Donald Trump got 62% of the vote in the last election against Joe Biden, and Andy Beshear held on to the state. People say that he's a moderate, he's trustworthy, they like him. But as you know, Daniel Cameron was a rising star in the Republican Party. They expected him to win this. When I was talking to folks on the ground there, they said it was highly unlikely because people like the governor there.
Floyd County, I'll give you an example. Beshear's going to win this thing by 14 points. This part of Kentucky, and there are regions of the country that are like this, particularly in this neck of the woods, has been on a wild political journey over the last generation.